Flashback. End of Flashback.
All right, well, it's been a while since we set up this warehouse. We've been here a little more than a year now, and we've constantly been revamping, reinvesting, and I wanted to give you guys just another look at our process. So here we've got the system we do now. We pick 3 orders at a time, so we're getting more efficient, and each tote has a custom barcode, so we would scan that in normally. We pick up orders, and then we're gonna have a machine, just like this right here, that would scan these orders in, and it's going to tell us what to pick next. But I'll let that charge up for tomorrow. But we'll go around here. In the morning, this area is where we actually prep all the plants. So all the plants get put into bags. This feels like a tea bag, but it holds moisture. And the plant goes in here, and then it gets put into another appropriately sized bag. So we prep all the plants of all the orders we get in the morning, and we'll have boards up there. So these screens up here will show how fast we're picking and packing, or show how many more plants need to be pulled if we do. Typically we're doing that a few times a day, so we'll get the majority done in the morning. Then we'll see, oh, we need 30 more Anubia Stand Petite. Someone will break off and go do that, and then they get put in these bins. Now these bins we had custom made. All of these were custom made for Aquarium Co-Op, and you can see here while we're walking by it, this is also where we get and we tag every single plant. So once if we're bagging up 100 Amazon swords, then each one gets its own label, and we can scan that in to reduce errors. At this point, it's been 40 days since we've misshipped anything. So our record is 59 days, but we strive, and some people might go, why do you work on that? And it's only one item, but it is costly, and making sure that it's not 20 times a month. And so it's always trying to improve, and we want everything to just get there the first time. We already have problems with UPS and FedEx and all of that. There's some delays, stuff gets lost. We want to minimize anything that could be put back on us. So the pickers would just come down through here, and they would scan everything you need. If you ordered one of these, or if you ordered, let's say all of these ordered some, you might be putting a couple here, one here, and 2 up there. And you would scan those in, and you go all the way through, and you'd be grabbing items, and there'd be a bunch of people. The aisles we had to widen up so we could do multiple trolleys, and we go all the way through. The backstock's in another room at this point. Shirts and smaller lights are back here if you were getting a shirt, those types of things. Other bulky stuff here. Through this zone, we sell a lot, or it's bulky, so there's tons of airline tubing. We sell a lot of our airline tubing. A lot of sponge filters in this area, nano air pumps. And a lot of this stuff is put together. If you're getting a sponge filter, a lot of times you get an air pump and you get airline tubing. That kind of goes hand in hand. Bulky stuff like flake food. It seems like a lot, but we sell so much of this. It's a great product, and you can see now they've actually changed the lid a little bit. So they're continually improving on themselves as well. But mostly because we ask for it and they see us doing it. Like our packaging got better. We're trying to make sure everything's got a barcode on it and just ready to rock and roll. So more bulky stuff. Sponge filters, barcoded, everything. And then you'd get to over here. You got a whole nother row. I probably went down the wrong way, but lights would be the last thing. One of the last things you're going to pick. All the fertilizers are down this way. And a lot of meds through here. So here's the med trio, 1, 2, 3, and just like that, the fertilizer 1, 2, 3. A lot of people buy the trios, right? So, and then you've got lots of backstock through here, and during the day, people have to come in, and they'll have to grab from the back half of the building. And this is where I spend the majority of my time when I'm here. I just dropped off more boxes and more USB air pumps. And so I bring the van in and we pallet jack stuff down. And then I store a lot of this at the cargo containers at my house, which Jimmy might have some B-roll of us unloading one. We had to unload one Christmas Eve. But yeah, so we come and we pull stuff here, we backstock over there. We're a little light right now. It's the end of the year, so the less inventory we're carrying, the better. But you can see lots of pallets of lights and stuff, Fluval lights, which luckily right now we actually have them. But most of the time, when we sell out of something, it means we've really sold out. We try to carry 3 to 6 months of everything that we sell. So if we sell 100 lights a month, we want to carry 300 to 600 of them. So when we run out, someone like Fluval or another company's been out for so long for us to ever hit that point. And so we're trying to make it so that when you guys shop with us, we're rarely out of stock. We've been averaging about 10 items out of stock, mostly all plants and that we can't get because of limited flights. If we take a trip back here, we've got a little bit more to show. There's lots of pleco caves. These are all shipping liners. Those are all shipping liners. So when you order plants, if it's going to be too cold, you might need a heat pack or a liner. I can show that up front. This is the big backstock freezer. This has all the brine shrimp. We have a cargo container of brine shrimp coming in fairly soon. Nice 37 degrees. This is something that doesn't have to be done. We choose to do it though. We want to keep it as cold as possible so they stay as fresh as possible. Even though we turn through them really quick, I was surprised that something like this wasn't as astronomical as I thought to have a walk-in cooler. So that worked out nice because we had to store it somewhere anyway, and we didn't want it to get too hot because we keep it pretty warm in here. Right now it's roughly 75 degrees, and that's nice for the plants, but not good for frozen or cold stuff. So grab our trolley. We can sneak back. All of these are all the containers we put all the packages in. So these actually get picked up by the post office and maybe in the future some other companies we're in talks with. But they bring a semi truck to fill up all of this, or to pick up all this, and they hoist it up and they go out the doors and all of that. And back through here, like this is just more easy fry food. And we have that's a downtime activity. So if we have a day where there's not a lot going on, we'll say, hey, prep fry food. And we actually had a machine built to do that. It's right around the corner here.
It's crazy cool.
Yeah. So it's all covered up right now, but so you have this, you'd put the done ones in there, and then you've got this big old hopper here. Let me get this chair. Ugh. So you put 50 pounds of food in the hopper at a time, and then you hold the bottle and you hit the floor pedal, and it will vibrate the food out, and you can keep doing that and putting labels on it, and everything we can do to keep up with kind of inflation and stuff, like shipping goes up, we pay our employees more, there's more costs associated with everything, so we're forced to invest in, like, I think this thing was all told, after we had to have it changed, like a part was wrong and all that, it was about 11,000, which worked out that, if we sold 10,000 bottles, which is like, 18 months worth or something, I don't know, we actually would save money. So we invested in the long term there, put that back where it goes. And you can see, we've got directions there so that if someone's new to it, we've got labels for fry food up here. We're waiting on a new label applicator. We've got lists on what needs to be taped and what doesn't need to be taped. So if the top has a really good seal on a liquid, a metal seal, doesn't have to have one. If it doesn't have that yet, we then put safety tape on it, which you would say, like, you can see here, requires tape. There's some of our products, Easy Iron, Easy Green. We're working on it. The machine's being installed at the manufacturer to do that for us. So eventually it'll come. We have lots in stock right now, so it's not exactly, you can see right here, these are all cases of, just bigger things of Easy Iron, and that's that extra tape we put on. So it's a tight cap, but we want to make sure it doesn't like jiggle its way loose. And it does have a seal, but that metal seal really does well, we've found. So we highly recommend that if you're a company making seals. If Jimmy can follow me around through here. This is just more backstock through here. A lot of Rapashi. This is all bug bites, Fluval bug bites. And you can see here we have notes to make sure we're rotating so that someone doesn't just come and grab the stuff that landed last week. We want to make sure we grab the stuff that's the oldest so we don't sell down and then have really old stock. So we're constantly rotating stock and staying up on that. We've got extreme foods kind of through here. Backstock, again, check dates. There's always going to be dates on everything. I don't know where they are right now, but yeah, there you go. We have to write them in, I guess. So yeah, lots of lights, all that kind of stuff. We move up here, we can see those liners I was talking about. These are actually just bins for recycling cardboard. We have to have pickup on recycled cardboard twice a week because we have so much cardboard, which is something I never planned for. Over here, this is kind of the last stop before you would put one of your guys' orders on the belt, and this is where you're going to get your free sticker. Basically, no matter what order you're at, you're going to get a sticker, and if you have an account and you order once, twice, 3 times, so you're gonna get different stickers. You can get the gamut of them. If you had live plants in your order and it's super cold and we need to have a liner, that's what these are. We have different sized ones. We have small, or like a medium and a large, and this zip close, and they're reusable. We paid to make them reusable so that way you could transport fish and frozen foods from your local fish store back when they open up. And then if it's super duper cold on top of that, you also get heat packs. So then your order would get a heat pack on top of all of those. And all of that would be in your blue bin. We'll pretend that this blue bin was your order. It would sail down and it would go all the way. Normally we'll have between 4 and 5 depending on the amount of orders. 4 and 5. They each have a bin, they each have a garbage can, they each have tape machines. They've got their computers to be scanning everything. So we scanned everything on the way in. We also scan everything on the way out to make sure nothing fell out and that the count was right. Maybe you ordered 3 air stones instead of 2, and we said it was 3, but it was actually only 2 in the thing. So that's how we get to the point where we go 40 days without an error.
Yeah,
and we ship.
You have the camera.
Yeah, we have a camera, so that's something that, I guess we haven't said, that if there ever is an error, we can see what happened. Did it roll off the table? Did it never make it to the table? Did it go in? We've had some people go, oh, it never showed up, and we're like, well, here's the video of it going in the box, and they're like, I found it, so that happens sometimes too. We learned that from a vendor, actually. We actually did that to someone where we miscounted by a couple, and they're like, we have it on camera, and then we watched it and we recounted again, and sure enough, we also had one time that vendor though did short us, so we're even. But we got fans set up for everyone, if they individually want to cool down, that kind of stuff. We've got anti-fatigue mats. But yeah, that would all, and if there's ever an error, so if it ever got to here and you were missing your air stone, you can then flip this. We have someone that would run, someone that's kind of restocking these with packing materials and stuff. That's their job. They see that light, an and-on light, they got to come and go, hey, what's wrong with the order? They pull it off the line, they take everything with them, and they go analyze where it went wrong. And then we write up a report actually to go, how'd we get here? Because sometimes you'll have an item that it's frequently mispicked. It could be like, oh, we're always grabbing a small sponge filter instead of a nano sponge filter. Why are we doing that? Like everyone's doing that. And it could be where we place it in the warehouse or something, so that gets fixed. And there's other little, if you just needed more boxes, you turn on the yellow, like it's not 911 yet, and we don't really have a use for green at the moment, but those would stack up down here and it'd be the whole belt full. And then up front, we have lots of more packing materials, lots of trash bags, lots of these. We put all the little nano things in here. This is all, should be tape. We go through tons of reinforced tape. And then this whole wall is pallets of stuff to restock these, and we've got commercial printers to print the label, like all the orders. So at the beginning of the day, we might print 200, 300, 400, 500 orders. You can see up here, actually, this is one of our dashboards that shows how fast people were picking this given day, how many orders. We can keep track, and that way we can see, like, if you placed an order and something went wrong, we can track it back to who packed it, or who picked it, who packed it, when was it done, when should we look at the camera, and let's make sure it's right. And we can coach people if people need to coach. I mean, honest mistakes happen. Does it say how many items today? It doesn't say. We have another board for the pickers that will say how many, it's 3,292 items today or something like that. But we really focus on, let's just get it right every time. And as a hobbyist, the most frustrating thing for me was, I can't stand it when people say, oh, it turns out we're out of that, or can we substitute, or that's on back order. So anything you ever see on our website will be in stock. That being said, we do track that as well. We track out of stocks because that's a mistake for us as well. We don't like that either. That's even worse. So we actually have that right here on the back. We take a look at it and we track, so the last time it was 11/14 when we misshipped an item. When what a misship is, that means you were supposed to maybe get 2 Mayaca and maybe we sent you 2 Bacopa, right? So we sent you here it is right here actually. They ordered 2 and we shipped them 3. So this person actually got an extra one and we'll count that because that's not a correct order on our side, what happens there? If we ever accidentally send an extra one, eventually someone's gonna get an out of stock, and that's what happened down here. Days since last out of stock, 12/26, that was 2 days ago. Well, apparently we had 1 air pump that we had miscounted in the sea of thousands of items, and it could have been 6 months ago we accidentally shipped someone an extra air pump just like this, and so usually the top half of the board will dictate somewhere down the road someone will be out of stock, and we don't want that. So every time we make a mistake, it actually is kind of 2 mistakes if you don't catch it right away and go, wait, we shipped 1. And so Candy, a lot of times our online customer service will catch that and she'll fix inventory and everything will be okay. But then when it comes to plants are the real hardest thing we do because they're all a living creature and they don't always look amazing. So like right now we have all of these swords. This one's got a broken leaf. Like, okay, well, it looks pretty good. We could probably ship the rest, but every once in a while you'll get some plants that maybe don't do so well. Like these guys right here, these pearlweed, they're a little sad. Like I'd like to see them more like this one back here. So they need a little bit to grow. So those wouldn't be in inventory yet. But then you've got things that are really rocking and rolling, like this Monte Carlo, nice and purling, ready to go. You've got this Ammonia gracilis that looks great, and we just have to manage all these living things also and keep track of inventory. So we actually do a count basically every other day, sometimes every day, just to make sure it's good. More purling here, more micro sword, lots to keep track of. And then also sometimes we run into size differences and people can get, oh man, I wish. So this is what's going on right here. We've got these nice big ones, right? And then these smaller ones. These ones are newer. So if we get down to, we sell all these and someone's getting 1 of these and 2 of these, they're gonna think we skimped out on them. And the reality is this is 1 week difference of growth, but the customer might not know that. They would think, oh, they're trying to pull a fast one on me. So we try to avoid shipping multiple sizes to someone just to avoid that whole customer service scenario. And then you can see we have to come in here and like back here, there's a little bit of gunk on all the little roots. And so you kind of just have to clean them up by knocking it off to get them into the filter. So some stuff requires a little bit more, whereas like a Java fern, that's a real basic, easy one. Really got to spoil the dwarf baby tears and get them purling. And as Dean was saying earlier, like who else ever has, like wholesalers or anything like that has purling versions? Like, well, I feel like this is the bare minimum of like, why wouldn't you have a plant getting better every day it stays here? There's a lot of companies that don't even put them in water. They're just like, goal is land them, sell them, land them, sell them, or sell them. That's why so often in the industry you place an order, can we substitute? We're out of this. It's because they're actually taking your orders, waiting for it, placing the order, having it land, oop, we didn't get any of that, send out the emails and try to make it right. So we don't do that. Yeah, sometimes you get stuff growing too big. That's where we might have to adjust this. If we don't sell this fast enough, you can see these ones back here are growing up out. If they get too long, we actually don't have bags and good boxes to ship that in. So we might have to take those to the retail store or find another method to, liquidate our money essentially. A lot of banana plants right here. And it's all on auto dosers. We use 3.0 lights on everything. And it's been good. I would say the system has gotten more and more efficient every month. We continually review our process and go, how do we make this easier, less strain on employees, on customer service, all of that. We track actually every item that's ever arrived broken, anything that does break and someone emails us about, and make sure that we don't have a run like, oh gosh, this plant or this production on this item has gone crappy. So we can monitor that and not just assume, oh, it must be the customer's fault. Instead, it's kind of like doing recalls for cars and stuff. We want to know when the problem happens. If we're getting reports, we want to track that just like we track whether we got you your items or not. So we try really hard, and we know right now there's delay in shipping. If plants arrive and they're not great, we'll take care of you. Don't worry about that. But do try to give us some extra time. If it's, everything we ship is priority, so it should be there in like 2 to 5 days, depending on where you're at. But with it being so swamped right now, maybe it takes 7 to 10 to 12 days. And if you have plants in there, if you got like a Nubius, they'll be fine. But if you have dwarf baby tears, maybe they went mushy, we'll refund your money or reship. Just depends on if we think they'll actually get to you in time. We don't want to just keep throwing money away, obviously, but we'll try if you want us to. So that's a look at the process, and each plant gets carefully trimmed if anything needs to get trimmed and prepped. Like Dean pulled plants that he actually wanted right here, and then we can bag them and we can do anything we want to do so they're ready to go. And a lot of times we'll have like these water bottles. So if this was a legit order, you'd actually make sure everything stayed wet while you were working with it. So you might, or if the brake alarm goes off or something, you'd wet everything down before you walked away, or anything else that might be required. So we've thought of as much as we can. We've got hydrogen peroxide, we've got sanitizer, so everything gets sprayed down with hydrogen peroxide and everything in case, for COVID parameters. And we're doing lots of extra cleaning and that kind of stuff. And each tray gets cleaned after every shift, and then we flip it over to make sure it fully dries before the next shift happens the next day, just to make sure. And you can see, there's a lot of wear and tear on these. We do a lot, but the mantra is kind of just like, let's just do it right. Like if there's a better way to do it, let's do it. Otherwise, let's just do it the best way we know how, and maybe we'll invent something later. But for now, this has been what we've, 5 years. Probably about 5 years of shipping plants and doing all that now. This is the best evolution we've got to. We've got some ideas, we've got some stuff we're testing, but we're not ready to show the public on where we're ready to take this. So it should even get even better. So I'm excited.